Warning, the following is intended for immature adult audiences. Please do not attempt any of the stunts or activities mentioned in this podcast, future podcasts, or previous podcasts. Sack torture. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
We're really leaning into this now, aren't we?
What's up, Beer League hockey fans and fellow dumpers? Welcome to another unedited, unfiltered, worldwide Dump and Skate podcast, the number one hockey podcast in the Bluffton, Hilton Head area, Pooler, Georgia area, and the areas of Oswego, Naperville, and Aurora, Illinois, and the countries of Israel, Canada, and Colombia. I know I said I wasn't going to do this anymore, but shout out to Corey, my favorite droney homie with the massive baloney pony compared to my macaroni. We are the Hockey Dynamic Dumpers. I am the podcast scheduler, social media content creator, official video and audio editor, the broken, old, and decrepit bender, the ball buster, the one that benders know and run their mouths to, but I don't even know who you are. I am the admin's bitch and sounding board, Jeremy. I might be a handful and a lot to handle, but my wiener isn't, Abdu. With me, as always, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, the man that makes this podcast possible, but it looks like he's filming a porno. The only producer that doesn't do any editing because he's too busy to fix Abdu's blind squirrel moments. The talent of the podcast, but not on the ice. The guy that won't hesitate to help out family or friends in need. The friend and brother that will always have your back on and off the ice. The very hard-working family man, Jeremy. I get my skate sharpened at a 2-inch hollow Hollington's worth.
Jeez Louise. Oh, man. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all shapes, sizes, and flavors? Welcome back into your favorite Beer League podcast, the one and only Dump and Skate podcast. We are super excited that you are back listening to us once again. We've got a really, really good guest on today, but let me just address a quick intro note here. I do not skate with a +2 hollow. I have progressively changed the hollow because I'm old, slow, and we play on probably one of the warmest ice surfaces 90% of our ice time. And so I got sick of feeling like I was skating through mud. So I started shallowing the depth of my hollow, and I'm skating with a 3/4 hollow right now. Now, what that means is that, unfortunately, the edges go out a little quicker. And last night, I did realize mid-game, the second I went to turn left, that, hey, surprise, the outside edge on your left foot doesn't exist anymore. And if you could look internally at my hip right now, it would attest to that, because I'm pretty sure I'm black and blue. I fell so hard like 2 or 3 times in a row on my hip that I feel like you this morning. Like I'm hobbling around the house, and like up and down the stairs. Oh, dude.
Sympathy
brutal.
Pains.
And I didn't even yell at you last night. So it's not like this is like payback for anything.
You were too busy yelling at other people.
Yeah, so I was. So I'm actively...
Turn left, land left. Just like me. I turn right, land right.
Oh, man. Basically skated with 1 foot, then switching skates and skating with what I wear an 8.5. I wear the 8.5 skate. One of our guys brought an extra pair of skates for me to let a friend of mine try on and stuff. And so they were a size 10. So I was like, screw it. I peeled off my left skate, gave it to one of our buddies. He could run up to the pro shop really quick, get him to try to sharpen it. And so I put on the size 10 skate with my 8.5 skate, which was probably the most comical. I thought I was going to break my ankle. I legitimately thought I was going to break my ankle. I mean, I don't know how that our guy skates in those skates. I can't it felt like it was like on one foot I had the OJ glove, on the other foot I had like a rowboat. And so it was just, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. It was absurd, worst. Well, it was better than not having an edge, though. I mean, did it look really cool because it had like a yellow non-waxed lace in it?
You look like
it looked orange.
An Ovechkin skate with a C League skills. But I'll tell you what, that breakaway that you had, I'm like, oh cool, we're gonna tie this up.
We're gonna try to get the goal. Let's go. Boom. Holland, why'd you fall? I looked like I was sliding into second base all of a sudden.
But for the record, you do get a what, 3/4? Did you say? And you're skating
a bunch,
4 times. Yeah, 3-4 times.
3 to
a week.
4 times a week. Yeah, it's wearing out a lot faster. But again, I'm working on a remedy to that. I got an extra set of steel I'm working on, so I can try to, because it's a pain in the butt to try to get skate sharpened here. There's only a couple people that I prefer to like to do it, and so I think what we're gonna do is figure out
Get me to sharpen them.
Well, we're going to work on that, but we're also going to see about getting the wheel for a buddy that has the Sparks machine.
Yeah.
And then I can just give him my steel, and he can run my steel through the Sparks machine. He doesn't have to have my skates.
We can ask our guest if he uses the Sparks or a actual blade.
Oh, I got an update for our guest. He since he told us about how he does his tape job on his butt end. It modified what I did a little bit, and so I've actually liked it, and I think I may have converted somebody else to it. I definitely converted my kid to it. He loves it because he does anything his dad does, whether it works or not. So that's not saying much. But I did have somebody on our B League team that used one of my sticks and was like, "I got to get that stuff. It's incredible." So, anyways, all right. Without further ado, I'm sure you have a nice intro for this, or are we just like popping him on stage?
I have an intro. It's not as good as my other intros.
It's not a baloney pony macaroni.
No,
intro? I hope it better not be. If so, this is going to be really weird.
Then I will not be invited to
anything
his
family.
brother's
there
wedding.
You go. Anything family function. Perfect.
Here we
All
go.
Right, so, let's hear it.
We have a returning guest from season 1. He is a big fan of the Zeros drinks. On his 21st birthday, he went out and bought 9 boxes of the Zeros, and he started the slogan. Alabama hockey runs on zeros.
That's dangerous.
This guy has over 89,000 followers on TikTok and won't even help us get 2 followers. My dad, Jeffrey Abdu, said today that our guest is the most optimistic person he knows. He is president of the Alabama Hockey Board while maintaining a high GPA, 3.2. He is in his 3rd season at the University of Alabama, recording a total of 35 points in 66 games. As a defenseman, that's a total of 10 goals, 25 assists, but let's not forget to mention his PIMS, a career total of 42, and he claims to be a lover and not a fighter. He also loves his Chicago sports teams, no matter how bad they are. Shout out to the Bears and Blackhawks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, my nephew and Alabama D1 defenseman, Austin, number 4 on the roster, but number 1 in my heart, Fink. And as you listen to this podcast, you'll notice there is no beeping in the background because he fixed the smoke alarm. And really quick, Austin, we didn't ask you this the first one because this didn't start happening till a little bit after, but I have to ask you a question.
What's up?
Do you pee in the shower?
Like, you talking locker room showers or like at home shower?
Okay, so the initial premise is, do you pee in your own shower like at your house?
Come on, y'all. Don't put me on the spot like that. But yes, I do. Yeah.
There you go.
Austin, I do not.
Abdu's weird. I'm not going to make you answer about the locker room shower because we've had some guys that offered up like, yeah, I piss in the shower. And then Abdu's like, that's why I don't take a shower in the locker room. That's disgusting.
Oh,
and so,
ball.
Yeah, so we're not trying to do grease ball.
Come on, man.
It's gross, right? And then he goes out to dinner. Last night he does that. He plays, doesn't shower, and then we go to dinner together.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah. At least it was outside. Outdoor. We're sitting outside, so we're
time out. The main reason why I don't shower in the locker rooms, I split my head open once, so I haven't gone in there.
That's your excuse?
Trauma, PTSD.
Come on.
And
man.
I don't even pee in my own shower.
He doesn't pee in his own shower.
Ah, okay.
I
don't know how peeing in showers has anything to do with you greasing it after skates. That's crazy.
It doesn't. He's just trying to change the subject. So the whole thing got started, Fink, with we were running in Nashville over the summer, And Abdu was riding, so we were driving up. It was me, him, and another guy that plays with us, and my wife. And somehow we got talking about peeing in the shower. I don't even know why it came up, but Abdu was adamant. He was like, "It's disgusting. It's the nastiest thing in the world. Like, I don't understand how you people can do that." Sort of thing. And I was like, "You people," and the guy that was in the car with me and me were both like, "We pee in the shower. What's the big deal?" And so he was like, "I'll guarantee you guys are in the minority. Like, there's no way that everybody pees." So one by one, we started calling the guys on our roster, and every one of them to a man was like, "Yeah, I pee in the shower. Who doesn't pee in the shower?" So slowly, Abdu began to realize he's the only one that doesn't pee in the shower, and so then it became kind of a gag. Like, we got a couple people on that we didn't, we knew them, but we were like, "Hey, look, we've asked some other guys this. We need to know if Abdu's like legit in the minority or what." And every single I don't think we've run across a single person yet that we've asked. It's been like, "No, gross."
We have not.
And we've asked some pretty odd ones. The goalie we were telling you about before, Grace, we asked her, and she was like, "Yeah."
I mean, it's all going to the same place, right?
Yeah, that's the theory here. Abdu calls it lazy or calls us animals or something. I
call you animals. It said it takes zero effort to go to the bathroom before you hop in the shower. Like, it's not cutting in any time of your day. It's not messing up your day.
It's not a timing thing. It's not a timing thing. Sometimes it's like I'm in the shower and I feel like I got to pee while I'm mid bathing off. It's like, what am I going to do? Jump out soaking wet and pee in the toilet? Or like sit there and squirm and try to shower really fast and hold it? Like, no way. Just pee, keep on rolling.
I tried it and I got stage fright. Couldn't even do it.
Couldn't perform. No. Performance anxiety.
Again, the way you say it, it makes me sound like I have erectile dysfunction. Like I have ED. No, I just couldn't pee in the shower.
Performance anxiety. Oh man, that's hilarious.
My nephew, how's the season going this year? You doing? You enjoying it?
Yeah, I mean it's always fun. I mean, you can't complain. Good. You go to a big school like Alabama and everything that goes with it, and you're playing hockey, so it's good. I mean, record's not really what we would like it to be, but I mean, we're losing 1-2 goal games. I mean, we're right there every single game. It's not like we're getting blown out by anybody, and it's tough, right? Because you're going game to game, weekend to weekend. You just can't squeeze one out, and once you do get one, you kind of get some momentum, and the next game you're losing in overtime and just kind of drains it, and then injury after injury. So it's definitely a war of attrition, but I mean, yeah, it's fun, but rough.
What's the leadership look like for you guys? Are you guys a veteran team with a lot of older guys? Or are you a younger team with a lot of younger guys?
No, so it's a lot of young guys. So
okay.
I like to say we're kind of going through like a rebuild-ish. Last season we had a total of 2 seniors.
Yeah.
And this season we have another total of 2. So
oh wow.
A lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores, still my rookie class. So the juniors now have kind of stuck together. I think there's maybe like 6 or 7 of us that are still playing, but yeah, majority freshmen, super young team. I mean, we got our top line, which has a freshman on it and 2 juniors, and our second line is just full of freshmen. So it is a super young team, and especially dealing with some injuries and some other out of the rink issues that sends guys out. It's been a challenge, but these young guys are getting a lot of experience, which is great. But at the same time, when you're going up against guys that are full teams of junior age outs that are all 25, 26 years old, it can definitely be tough.
Yeah. What is there a contributing factor to you guys ending up with only a couple seniors left? I mean, obviously, if you're starting with a bunch of, you said you have your junior class is like 6, 7, 8 guys. Is it something that's looked like every year where like your junior class is relatively big and then it starts to just, get smaller by the time you get there? Any reasons that happens, or has it just been smaller classes up until now?
Yeah. I don't know about smaller classes, but my freshman year, I think we had like 13 or 14 seniors. So once they all left, it kind of left everything wide open. Yeah. And again, our freshman class was then small because there were still some sophomores and juniors on that team with us my rookie year. And so, yeah, I would say that the 2 classes and the 1 class above me now, the now seniors, were super small. So we were kind of that one class that kind of came in that will be the 14 seniors graduating or whatever we will have next year.
Yeah.
But they will have a really good bunch of freshmen. Our freshmen this year are great. A lot of skill guys. A lot of them are coming out of high school, but Again, coming from those really good programs, great areas, Minnesota high school, New York, Buffalo area. So definitely a bright future. And with the big thing is with the Canadian juniors now being allowed to play NCAA D1, it's just going to push everything down. So we've been getting emails left and right from goalies and players that in leagues and teams that would never even think of Alabama, that would be thinking NCAA D3 or even like fringe NCAA D1 that are now reaching out to us. And it's like kind of a shell shock because we've never really had that before. It's kind of a come into tryouts, take what we have and see who shows and maybe get lucky. But now it's full on recruitment. I mean, these kids are coming in waves. So it'll be really exciting to see what turns out next year.
Is that, you think that's any way tied to you guys making the big jump next year? Because you guys are one of only a few teams that are kind of making that sort of move, correct?
Yeah. So we're independent right now.
Yep.
In the ACHA D1, it's Kentucky's now jumped on board. Louisville, drawing a blank here. North Carolina, NC State, Pitt, all these teams coming together now to make this conference. It has drawn a lot of attention, and especially now that we get a chance for an auto bid at nationals. And the travel being a lot less, just traveling to these local teams instead of going all the way to Michigan or up to Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania and stuff like that. So it's definitely added some draw for sure. But I think a lot of these guys are kind of turning their heads away from NCAA D3 and seeing the success of the ACHA, like UNLV going into Denver and beating their full roster. I think they're missing Zeev Boyum and their head coach, but that was it in the World Juniors. I mean, they had their whole roster. And UNLV went in and upset him. So I think it's turned a lot of heads for sure.
Yeah. As president of the board, do you have any say or any position in recruiting? Do you?
Yeah, kind of. It's my coach prefers the players to reach out to them first before they get in contact with the coach. Just kind of tell them what it's like from a player perspective, kind of what our day to day is like, what school's like, what tell them about our facilities and all that, just so they can kind of have like something to relate to rather than a coach just saying, oh yeah, well, come play here, yada yada yada. Because we really can't give them much. It's not like we can say, oh yeah, come here, we're going to give you a scholarship, or like we're going to help you get into the school and get all these academic scholarships. We really have no pull or no say in the admissions. So kind of drawing them here on the, I guess you could say, sort of called like benefits of playing in a stadium rink, having our own, I think one of the best locker rooms in the entire ACHA, going to the University of Alabama, having our football team, our sports programs as prestigious as they are. So we kind of get our foot, roll tide, but we get our foot in the door. And yeah, funny you say that. I was at the game in Tampa.
The tide definitely rolled that day.
How bad did you get rained on?
Rolled over and died.
Oh, drenched. So it was in the first quarter, and so me and my mom were there, and we were kind of standing. So the Buccaneer Stadium, how it's shaped is like it's not very, so it kind of comes out wide like wings, and then there's really not that much seating on like the north and south end zone. And so we were standing on the opposite side of the pirate ship, pretty close up on like the railings. And it started to rain a little bit, and we had like really good spots because we were like right at the front on the railings. And it started to rain a little bit. My mom chickened out. She went like under the one of like the portable bars or whatever. They had a roof. And I'm like, nah, it's part of the experience, whatever. And then torrential downpour. And I tell you, like, people just started. It was like there was an emergency. Like people were just evacuating the stadium, running into the tunnels. It was crazy.
Did you stay out?
No.
The experience part ended there.
Yeah.
All right, it's good enough, guys.
Yeah. But it was
no
interesting.
Need to catch pneumonia here.
So Livy was obviously there for her last game, and the Crimsonettes, they have their costumes are like up to $1,200, and if it gets rained on, all of the rhinestoning and the colors get washed out, and so basically they'll get completely ruined. So they all rushed in. As well as the band, some of the band members too, with their instruments. I don't know the technicalities of it, but they'd get ruined.
A lot of brass instruments, but a lot of your woodwind stuff will get ruined because they're
and the Michigan band stayed out, and they all stayed out, and they were like saying, "Oh, these Bama like wussies, they're all running inside. We're embracing it. They're not built." And it's like, I don't know. It was a whole thing. It's Michigan fans, man.
Good luck playing
else.
your tuba underwater, weirdo.
Yeah, seriously.
Enjoy that skin flute.
Yeah.
So, since we kind of drifted into football here, there's a kind of a. I wanted to ask a question, but this will be a decent segue. What's the general vibe on Alabama's campus since you guys have gone from arguably the GOAT in Nick Saban to Kalen DeBoer? I know it was super, super high early on in the season. You guys beat my boys, the Georgia Bulldogs, in your own house.
We were supposed
and that was
to do
a big one.
too.
Were we? I don't remember who we were. Were we really? And did I cancel or something? Because I was like, I don't want to talk to him right now.
Yes,
I think I
that's
may have
exactly
said that.
what you said.
I was like, I don't want to listen to Fink right now. I don't want to have to
We
hear
were
it.
supposed to do a podcast the
And
following
I was like,
day.
I'm good. I'm good.
And then like, look, man, I'm
Sorry, bud.
I really don't want to do a podcast. I don't want to deal with these guys.
Oh man, yeah, no. So yeah, you guys were riding a pretty high there, and then the next week was a loss to Vanderbilt, then a struggle against I think South Carolina maybe or something, and then obviously losing to Oklahoma late in the season and kind of bumping you guys as a football program out of playoff contention. There were some feelings like, hey, we're gonna still go into the bowl season and make a statement, and unfortunately it was not the best statement. So what's the general feel on campus for the new head coach? Is it kind of a, hey, it's a year one, don't worry, or is there some angst about it?
I think it's a year one, don't worry. I mean, when Nick Saban came in, he didn't come in and win a national championship. So
Sure.
I don't think people are really worried. I think the state of college football where it's at with NIL and everyone transferring and no loyalty to any program, it's kind of hitting every single school right now.
Yep.
I mean, look at Georgia. I mean, Carson Beck going to Miami. Like,
yeah, that's an interesting one too, because I follow pretty close, obviously, as a Georgia guy and following all that. Some of that was tied into like that's where his girlfriend's at.
Cavender,
yeah. And so, but there was some of it too that apparently the early reports were that it was a mutual parting of ways, and there was a report that pumped out that was like, no, Georgia, kind of asked around about it or whatever. But the NIL deals he's getting by rolling to Miami, like over north of 10 mil, like that's nuts. I had heard Georgia paid him like about 1.2 to 1.4 just out of their own collective last year. Yeah. And then obviously you get all of these other NIL deals with companies and stuff. He was, driving around in a Ferrari. Supposedly him, Ewers, and one other quarterback had the private jet NIL deal, and also they had a bunch of evaluation stuff that said, he was getting close to like $5 million at Georgia. I don't know how you don't look at a guy that says, I'll go take 10 mil and be like, all right, what are you going to do? So Carson's one that's hard for me to be like, he's not loyal, because he did sit and wait his turn, and he did play for 2 years. I think there's just the general feel I got was that was about money, about girlfriend, but I think there was also some I think he was ready just kind of to move on somewhere else. I think there was just some tension there, probably not between the coaching staff, but I think him having all that money and having all of that notoriety, I think it affected the locker room in a negative way. I don't have any inside info or anything like that, but I think that's a big part of what's happening across college football. I think the programs that do a good job to insulate their teams from that are probably going to be set up for more long-term success than programs that are willing to go out and pay. I don't see Carson being super successful at Miami. He might throw for a bunch of yards, a bunch of touchdowns, but I don't think Miami's going to go out and be some sort of a national powerhouse now just because they got Carson. I just don't think it's good for the locker room when you got a guy that rolls in and everybody knows he's making 10 mil, and there's the guy on the that's the first string number 2 wide receiver, and he's making $100,000. He's just going to be pissed. And so I don't know. It's like you said, it's kind of the wild, wild west here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when Nick Saban retired, I don't know if we had the podcast after that happened, but did I tell you guys about the shrine and everything that they made for him?
No.
Oh my gosh. So outside of Bryant Denny and the Walk of Champions, it's kind of like on game days, they walk down. It's like a big deal. Everyone gathers around and they walk into their locker room, and there's a ton of statues like Bear Bryant. And then newly, I think they erected a few years ago, but they had the Nick Saban statue. And so when he retired, it was like he died. There was a shrine. People brought pizzas, candles, flowers. Oh yeah.
Good pizza, or just
No,
Regular,
so
like,
they're
Papa John's.
Bunch of little,
he
like a
was-
bunch of little Caesars pizzas.
yeah, like he was
The hot and readies.
He had like a favorite pizza that was like famous. I don't even know what it is, but they all brought it for him. But yeah, it was kind of nuts, and the fact that we went and got Kalen DeBoer so fast seemed like they kind of had a guy in mind. But I do have kind of some insider information on that. They held a meeting with all the athletic teams and the coaches, and came up and kind of debriefed them about NIL and said, this is kind of how it's going to go. And he said, nope, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
And they weren't, like it was abrupt.
He's been, I'm not going to say outspoken, but Saban has been pretty honest about he's not a giant fan of the way it's impossible for him to replicate. I don't think there's going to be a program or a coach that is able to duplicate what Saban did for the 15 whatever year run he had, where they were a perennial powerhouse, because he did that built off of recruiting. I don't know if you watch a lot of Game Day, but Shane Gillis, who I think is freaking hilarious, when he was on there with him, and he said something about, because Alabama never paid for players or anything, and Saban got like legit pissed off about it. I mean, there's a little bit of like, come on, high horse, calm down. Like everybody, like Georgia was doing it. Everybody knows the big programs that were recruiting well, things were being promised to these kids. There was money changing hands. Everybody knows that was the case. But I agree with Saban. Saban did it because I've watched Kirby do it, right? And I know Kirby functioned under that same system for so many years. Saban did it building relationships with kids and doing his best to offer these kids long-term success and wealth at the next level. That was his whole model that he wanted to build, and that's an incredibly it's bore out that it's incredibly successful, and it's an incredibly profitable model for that college, because if you can do it successfully, kids are going to want to keep coming through there, so you're going to continue to get the best of the best of the best. Kirby's followed that same model. If I can go get the best kids and bring them in there, accumulate them, we can train them up, and then we can also start pushing them out into the league. You look over the last 5 years or so since Kirby's really kind of developed that at Georgia, it really is the Georgia and the Alabama show come NFL draft day. And there's other schools that are getting guys drafted in there, but not at the same consistent clip, I think, that those two schools have. And I think it is tied to that Saban mentality of, this is how we build relationships, we develop kids, we move them through. And I think Kirby's done the same thing, to the point where inside the Georgia network, there's a lot of guys that are giving Kirby heat for not going out and throwing $1, $2, $3 million at a wide receiver coming out of high school and saying, oh, our year was so bad because we didn't have any good wide receivers, and it's because Kirby mismanages NIL and blah, blah, blah. I disagree. I still think there's credibility to Saban's model. I still think there's credibility to Kirby's model. I think there's just the financial aspect of it now too. So doesn't shock me that Nick didn't want to be a part of that anymore. I would love to see him take, and this has been floated, I'm sure you've heard this, like a commissioner's role, and try to help rein some of this in. Because, I mean, that's what we're going to. This is going to be professional athletics here very, very soon, with all of the legislation that's coming down about NIL and not just that, but collective bargaining and all that. I mean, as soon as those things start to hit, you're going to have the Alabama Crimson Tide, but it's not going to be a single player that's a student. I mean, same thing's coming
Welcome
for
to
Georgia.
the Dump In College Football Podcast, everybody.
Oh, sit down and calm down over there.
And Mr. Bryce Underwood over there.
Oh, you little thief.
If it wasn't for Stool Presidente, you guys would be in the gutter.
Yeah, you would. Although, I will say this. I really dislike that Ohio State won, because I strongly dislike Ryan Day. I just think he's a clown of an individual. I think he was born with a silver spoon and on like halfway between third and home. Yeah. And it took him hiring a very good head coach as an OC and paying that guy like $2 million a year to finally get his school over the hump. And so I got nothing for Day and his beard coloring he uses. But here's the great thing. Michigan can still hold over their head, hey, you guys may think you're national champs, but you lost us, you schmucks.
You can't be the champs if you can't beat the champs.
There you go.
So, but yeah. So, bringing it back to hockey really quick, Saban had like the Alabama way, right? And so bringing these new recruits in and all, there was always this Alabama way. You're talking about having a lot of guys. Is there like an Alabama way that translates into the hockey where these young guys are having to kind of learn some different habits maybe than they had in high school?
On our current team right now, or what we're trying to do in the future, I guess is the big question. Right now, not really. Again, I don't want to get too deep into it, but
Sure.
I mean, you look at our record right now. We have 3 wins on the season. Last year, how many do we have? Maybe 5, a handful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's those
not
penalty
even.
minutes you're spending time in there. You're just,
It's
Stay out
not
of the
me, man.
penalty
It's
box.
not me, man.
come on, Fink.
Yeah, it's not even close, but it's we're trying to implement that, and especially having a new coach coming in this year, his first year, similar thing. There's going to be bumps along the road, but
Yeah.
and again, there's a lot of the old culture still tied into the team today, and that's kind of what we're trying to get rid of, and that takes time. It's not going to happen over the course of 1 year, and it may not even happen over the course of 2. But that's the path we're trying to take right now, and taking baby steps and getting over the humps is kind of what the process we're in right now. So the future is bright, but it's going to take some time to get there for sure.
Well, and I'm sure that's hard when you're saying, a big portion of your team is underclassmen. I know if you follow football recruiting, every recruiting class, you've got, 20 or so guys in there. So there's the goal is that there's a healthy balance between every single class you have out there. So you potentially have 4 to 5 different, years represented on the football field. What is you guys, I'm not gonna say scholarship number, what is your team size? Are you guys carrying 20, 25 guys?
Yeah, we carry, man, I think it's like 29 total. I mean, we've had a few quit this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're probably at like 27,
So
25.
you're in theory, what you should have is somewhere between 6 to 8 guys in each class, roughly.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is that's not really what you've got. Like you've got like 2 seniors. You guys might have 6 to 7, but then you're saying it's a whole bunch of sophomores and freshmen. It sounds like there may be like a whole lot more freshmen than anything. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but I would say I'd say the freshmen and sophomores probably take up 3/4 of the team.
Yeah,
probably.
So that is a culture shift that's probably hard to deal with, especially for you, because you've got so many young guys that are coming in that are used to a certain way. You said you got kids coming right out of high school, so they may have played AAA or whatever level they've played in high school, and they're coming in now working with you guys, and so there is a massive adjustment period, and without a lot of upperclassmen to kind of drive, hey, this is what it looks like. I'm sure that's not easy, and that creates an atmosphere where you guys want a certain culture, but it's hard to just kind of have it snap, like as soon as those guys get there. So yeah, no, I can understand the growing pains. In addition, like you're talking about, new coach, that's got to be tough. So, but bright future because you guys are heading in the right direction, and I think coach sticks with it, kids stick with it. That's it's a good outlook. So just a little bit of growing pains. So yeah. Nice. Last time we talked about your stick specs, and we were talking about using. I don't remember. I'm not terribly interested in this because I'm going somewhere with it. But are you using the Bedard stick, the Sherwood stuff, or were you using something different?
No, I use a Shift. Have you ever heard of that? It's out of Chicago.
Yep.
So yeah, Shift reached out to us in the summer because one of our players
was using one. Yeah, we saw some of that.
Yeah, and they just kind of reached out and said, hey, we want to make a custom Alabama Frozen Tide stick and give them to you guys at an extremely discounted price if you'd use them. And so I was like, yeah, I get to design my stick, kick point, flex, pattern, lie, like whole 9 yards, man. And
that's cool.
I was like, yeah, absolutely. And so that's what I've been using this whole year, and they're fantastic.
All right, so let's run down that road a little bit because I didn't realize that. What sort of is that I know we're familiar with Shift. We've seen some of that. We had seen that one of your guys played with them and had a sponsorship's probably the wrong word, but had a relationship with Shift as a D1 club athlete and all. Do they do full customization for the average Joe?
Yeah. So you can graphic wise, I don't know,
but you can build your curve, your flex, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And then they have different levels of the sticks, so that it goes by weight. So I think the first one's like 425 grams, which is a branch of wood, and then I think it goes to 375.
I mean, it's I feel like you never actually played with a wooden stick, probably, but it's not a branch of wood. But yeah, no, you're good. An old. I'll guarantee you, an old wooden stick was probably like 625 grams.
That's wild.
I have a few that I just threw away.
There you go. Yeah, it goes down.
And he has
like
to call me over to
300,
help him because
350.
they weigh so much. He's like,
Yeah.
I need a
Oh,
spot.
right, yeah.
Can you grab one end of the stick and help me?
Yeah.
Help me out. All right, so they got a 425 that's kind of their
Yeah.
base model, right? And then they work up
Yeah.
to what?
375 and 350. So I use
Yeah.
a 375 because I think
Yep.
350 is way too light and they
Yep.
break. I used a Nexus Sync before that, and I think that's around like 360. So it's kind of
Yep.
in between.
Yeah.
And I just went with the 375 because it was a lot cheaper. But yeah, it's great. I mean, I think they give the comparisons on their website, which is awesome. And yeah, it's full customization. So I think it starts out, you pick your flex, obviously, and it could be anything, anywhere from as low as 50 to like 102 maybe. And then you go down to your curve. So they have basically every curve, Bauer and CCM. They can't name it like a P92, so it's like an S92 or something, just for
Yeah.
copyright reasons. And
Yep.
then you can actually choose like grip or non-grip, and then like a texture. So like a candy cane texture. They can do all sorts of different grip. Like do you remember the old
Berlin is
Supreme
aroused.
Total One where it had like the rib? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They have that. So that's actually what I use right now. And so yeah, it's crazy.
Berlin,
So do you go?
I know you're
do you go
listening
non,
to this.
Do you know
Berlin.
Do you go non-grip texture,
No, I'm grip.
grip and texture?
Yeah.
Nice. Go ahead, Abdu.
I just know that Zach Berlin is going to be listening to this, and he is on the website, still listening
Already.
to this podcast,
Yeah.
fully aroused, probably like Vaseline and looking at this because
I don't
can I
know.
just go- can I go ahead and say what we're kind of doing?
I was going to say it. Yeah, go ahead.
We're actually, as we speak right now, in the midst of doing a custom stick order. Exactly what you're saying. Kick point, graphics. You can do.
Yeah, you can do a pretty
Options.
wide. Yeah, there's a really, really wide range of graphics with the company we're using, and they're
Edgers,
they're
logos. We can put a dump and skate logo on it if we wanted, and everything.
I'll send you a picture. Think I've got a stick here that we built and ordered from them back in the summertime, and it's a bad curve, which is my own doing. I was trying to do something a little different, and it's horrendous. I can't even. It's useless. I'm probably gonna give it to my neighbor's kid down the street, just to try to let it get used at this point, because I don't think. I mean, it's just bad. I've played with it a dozen times, and it's always bad. So, but yeah, full customization, like even probably a way wider curve catalog than even what you've talked about, because this company has actually gone out and bought the curve molds for like discontinued sticks and stuff. So they've done a lot of work doing that and all, and they have probably 3 to 5 different like shaft designs that you can use. So like the old Easton, like very square style, they do the rounded square, which is the very common one nowadays, but they even have a super round one, which kind of feels like, I don't know. I have a Hyperlight that I just started using that it feels kind of rounded, like it doesn't feel like a rounded square. And so one of our guys got it, and it feels almost like an intermediate stick in his hands, but he loves it. It's 102 flex, I think, or 100 flex. He loves it. He said it's probably one of his favorite sticks. So, but yeah, that's Pro Stock Hockey Sticks is who we go through. And so they're really, really cool. They can do all sorts of colors and stuff. But that's really neat that Shift does that for you guys. So they built a custom design for you guys, like so all of you guys have a same looking stick.
Yep. Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
What is the like stick feel? Does it have a brand that it feels like? Does it feel more like a CCM versus a Bauer, or is it just kind of like, I don't know, it's its own?
Yeah, because I've used both CCM and Bauer, and like CCM's a lot more boxy.
Yep.
I would say it's kind of like a hybrid. I would say it's thin, but it definitely is boxy.
Yeah.
Like the CCM, but it does have like the thin feel like a Bauer.
So can you customize your own colors and such stuff?
I don't think
like that.
I don't know.
I don't think on the
haven't really
retail
looked
market you
into it,
can.
but I'm sure if you reach out to them, they'd be more than happy to.
And then how many? I don't mean this in a negative way. I'm just trying to see like how durable they are. Like how many sticks have you gone through in a season? Like how many have you broke?
I've only broke one.
Okay.
So far this
was
year.
that out of frustration because you're 44 minutes in
No.
the penalty box, or
Nah. No, I can't even remember how I broke it.
okay?
Yeah, but it was just like on a shot.
And then I don't know if you want to answer this, but what's the average cost? Do you know?
Probably can't.
There's
Probably
like a
can't. Probably can't answer that because you guys got a pretty good deal from them, I'm sure, right?
Yeah,
That's what I was asking. Like as a average Joe, just going off the street.
an average Joe.
I don't know. You can just go to Shift Hockey probably. And
Yeah,
figure
I'm
that
not
out.
100% sure, but what we did is we had a previous stick order, which they were all fake, but they all had like the agent graphic, the sync, whatever we wanted. And they were at 140 a pop. And so we kind of negotiated. We were like, hey, we have this in line. We've been doing this for years. We're happy to switch over, but we kind of need to honor the price. And they were like, yeah, absolutely.
That's about
yeah,
the same price.
Yeah, they're awesome though. They're so easy to work with. Great bunch of guys. They actually play in the Johnny's League. So
have you played at Johnny's?
No, but I've heard stories.
Okay, yeah, because I played once and I'll never go again because I don't belong there.
Yeah, it's
that
insane.
would be like me playing on your team.
Yeah, I've heard it's crazy.
Really good hockey. I have a couple friends that play there and they're pretty decent. I think you could hang. I actually know you could hang there, but they're really super competitive. So
yeah,
I think you should go.
Yeah,
so
give it a
So
try.
their sticks are their low end model is at the 130 mark, and then they can move up to the 190, 200, and 220 mark. So and that's just like their stock sticks right off, straight off their website. Obviously, you can probably pick your blade and flex.
when does your season end?
We go all the way through March. So yeah, we're currently trying to reschedule Oklahoma State right now because we canceled. I think it was the second weekend of January. We got snow here, so we got snowed in, and so we're trying to reschedule with them. It'll probably be late March, last weekend of March. So I mean, it's the longest season we've ever had since I've been here.
So what you're saying is you're available in May if, let's say, a group of my friends, great guys, were to play in Charleston.
It depends. May's kind of a busy month for me because I got my best friend's 21st, which is going to be in Vegas. And then once I get back from that,
gosh.
the next day I hop on a plane, go to Fort Lauderdale for Parker's batch trip.
Oh,
When is Parker's
right.
batch trip? That might be the most. That would be the determining.
Yeah,
factor.
it's like the 14th through the 17th.
Yeah, that he's out.
yeah, you
then.
can't make. Yeah, you're out. My next question is, when do you start school? Like, so Austin's brother, my nephew, is getting married Labor Day weekend. Are you back at school the weekend before? Or are you going to be in Chicago the weekend before?
No, I'll be back at school. Yeah.
We got to work on your schedule here.
Unfortunately.
We got to work on
Boo
your
this
schedule.
man.
I know.
Boo this man. Boo this man.
Yeah, unfortunately.
He's trying to poach you to come play with us.
So we are doing a zeros tournament at All Seasons in Naperville
saw that.
the weekend before, and I mean we would love to have you. And you met Cooch too
fun.
at
Yeah.
one of the
Oh,
zeros.
yeah.
Austin's
Pretty
I
small.
don't even-
Pretty small guy, right?
Yeah.
So funny story. So our good friend Pete Rossi, he helped some years back run the club program at Rutgers, and Pete's up from the Jersey area, and also he's familiar with the lay of the land up there. Helped those guys run that program. Has been down here. He's running our kids programs, and had a couple guys from Georgia Southern reach out and like, hey, we'd like to do a club team. We've got 8 or 9 guys that are interested in it. Would you mind helping? So Pete has jumped in and really helped kind of build that program, and so they've had to do some creative recruiting because they are in a probationary period. They can get people they don't have to just have students that are at Georgia Southern. They're also not in the ACHA. They're in the CHS, the College Hockey South, the AAU branch of this. And so the rules are slightly different for those guys. You can be under a probationary period. You can grab guys that are all local to the area, but maybe attending a different school or things, just to try to help get the program up and running. With the long-term goal of you build the program based on students at the school kind of thing. But Pete's been doing recruiting, some things like that, and we've had some guys that wanted to jump back in and play hockey. So a good buddy of ours, Grant Dye, is originally he's from Alaska, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
And so played at some, I don't even remember all the levels he's played at. Abdu might remember some of them, but
I just
had
know he tried
had
out for
some
the
interest.
O.
He had some interest playing in the O and things like that. So Grant's played some pretty good hockey. But Grant is full-blown career man now, works in the dental field, and is 35, I think.
I was going to say 36.
35, 36, right? You met Rob. Rob is, I think, 37, 38. Rob played high school hockey and then joined the military. Never got a chance to play beyond that until now in men's beer league. And so Pete is good friends with all these guys because they all travel with us. And Pete was like, hey, I'm doing the GSU thing. And both Grant and Rob were like, so all we got to do is take a class, right? And they were like, yeah, one class gets you signed up as a student. You can play. So Grant and Rob, Grant still had a year of eligibility left to be able to play hockey. Rob obviously has plenty of eligibility. So we have a team that has a 38-year-old on it and a 35-year-old on it. And they went and played tennis. I may get in trouble for this, but we're sending it. They went and played University of Georgia Division III program, right? And so they come walking into the facility, and the head coach looks over and goes, those are coaches, right? And I think Pete was like, no, those are our guys. And they're looking at Rob and Grant. And Rob, you saw Rob. Rob looks like a mountain of a dude. And so he actually the head coach at Georgia grabbed like 6 or 8 of their D1 guys and put them on the roster to play against them because he was a little bit nervous about it, right? Yeah. So that stinks. The team has gotten better. They went and traveled to Tennessee and played Tennessee's Division III team, which I think was like number 6 or 7 or something in the country at the time, and only lost to them the second game 3-2. Really good game.
Nice.
But apparently Grant hit a kid, full legal hit, but hit this kid so hard he left the rink in 2 slings. Yeah. So this is some full-grown men playing in some college hockey, which is freaking hilarious.
Yeah,
it's just it's comical. So yeah, you just imagine Rob on skates barreling down at you like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm hugging the boards on that one.
So, oh man, it's too funny. Hey, back to sticks really quick. So last time we talked, you said that you had kind of an oddball tape job where you did, 8 or so wraps over the top, and then you use lizard skins, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so you did a lizard skin wrap so that the knob looks kind of like an octagon and less like a rectangle. Yeah. So I don't do the octagon, but after we talked and you spoke so highly of them, I don't have, we've got no way to get like the hockey brand of lizard skins locally, but I happened to be in the Dick's Sporting Goods and they had the baseball bat lizard skin wraps. And so they had like a 0.8 and a 1.1 millimeter. I think that's the thickness of it. Yeah. All they had that was in like a white, because I wasn't getting like hot pink or neon green because that's freaking weird. But they had a white one and a 1.1 millimeter. I bought one of them, brought it home, played with it, fell in love with it. Immediately went back. Yeah, immediately went back and grabbed a couple more of them. Yeah. My kid saw me playing with them, and so we were in Jacksonville for something for him. I bought him a new stick, and he was like, I want the grip like what you have on your stick, Dad. He's never used it before, but I was like, okay, fine. So I let him pick a goofy. He got some sort of like black and white camo thing. So, of course, he's wrap my stick like you do yours, Dad. So I do it just like mine. Wrap the stick up. He plays with the first game, comes off, and he's like, it's so awesome. I love it. It's so great. And so fast forward, last week we had a beer league game for our B league, and one of the guys that plays with us, similar height to me, comes walking in and he goes, boys, I got a problem. I left my sticks at home and just realized it. And I said, I have a couple extra ones here with me. Of course, I have the lizard skin wrap on the second one, uses the backup, and he's like, this thing's freaking awesome. He's like, what kind of grip is this? I was like, it's just a lizard skin. He's like, this is incredible. So I liked it so much because the instant difference I felt was like with regular, I never used grip tape or anything. I always just used straight up stick tape, would wrap a little tiny knob, like a half a roll of tape knob, and then wrap, a 10-inch long or so, tape down the shaft. And if I were to poke check or anything or reach, it was always sliding through my hand and then hitting the knob. And that's where I knew everything, like where it stopped. With the lizard skins, it's like grabbing a tennis racket. Like the lizard skin is so soft that I feel like I don't have to grip super hard with my hand to have top hand control on my stick. It's just, as an old man, it was really nice not to have to feel like I'm having like death grip on my stick the whole time. So I love them now. I've got them on, a couple of sticks. I broke 2 sticks here in the last month, so I had to go replace, and I've got a Hyperlight I'm playing with, and I went out and bought a couple days ago another set, and I'm using the baseball one still because I just am too lazy to order them the hockey ones offline. There is a difference, mind you, in the feel of them. Yeah, so the hockey ones are more of like a rubbery feel, and the baseball ones are more of like a padded rubber. So it's got some squish to it, which I actually like. So it's nice. So thanks for mentioning them because they're pretty phenomenal.
Absolutely, yeah. I used the baseball one at first, and then when I went to Colorado this summer, it completely ripped off. I was using the Sink at the time, and I was like, okay, I got to figure something out. And so I just went to my local hockey shop, and obviously they have all the hockey ones.
Yep.
So I got the 0.5 millimeter, and like you said, I was using the 1.1.
Yep.
And yeah, I'll never go back. I'll never go back to the baseball ones. The hockey ones are legit.
Are they? So my kids is I think it's a 0.8, and obviously it has a very different feel to it. The texture does. But the padded, I like the kind of bulky padded feel of that 1.1. It's nice, but I think it's a softer compound than the hockey one. So it does do what you're talking about. It starts to rip. I noticed mine down lower, so if I ever have to take a draw, I slide my top hand down just a little bit. And I noticed where I was doing that and then running my hand back up, it started ripping on the corners a little bit. So I was getting close to, on one of my sticks before it broke. I knew that I was probably going to have to replace it because the lizard skin was starting to tear. So,
do you have any other cheat codes for hockey gear? Although I know you told me to do the CCM bubble versus the Bauer bubble.
No, I switched back. I can't do it.
Why not? I was thinking about going bubble. I think about it at least once a week when I'm putting my helmet. I'm like, man, I might go bubble. I might go.
Yeah, the bubble for sure. I mean, it's something I've used for the past like 7 years, and so I can't even imagine going to a cage. But I would say playing in the South though, the bubble fogs up a decent amount.
It would, yeah.
And it's just hot. Like I feel like when you go to a northern rink, it's kind of nice because the rinks are twice as cold, and you kind of keep the hot air in. But because we were just in St. Louis this past weekend. And playing there is completely different than playing down here. I mean, obviously, but just feeling the different temperatures of the rinks is kind of crazy. It makes bigger impact than you'd expect.
Have you tried the baby shampoo on the bubble? A lot of people down here use baby. A lot of people down here use baby shampoo on their bubble, and it does not fog up at all.
Really?
Just a lot of people do it down here. I thought it was silly, but they swear by it. So
okay. Yeah, that's
never heard this. Who told you that?
D cups.
Are you serious? That's what you're basing this off of?
2 guys on his team. He heard it from somebody else, and I saw.
Oh my God! Disregard everything you just said. What are you talking about?
I'm telling.
That's who you're basing this off of. A lot of guys down here use it. One doofus that doesn't understand hockey that well.
2, maybe 3.
Says 2 guys on his team use it.
Well, they swear by it. And,
oh my gosh!
Wait. There's another person. Let me think. Maybe it's Hoffman. May have said something. I'll double check before I name drop. But yeah, people have baby. They put on their visors too. So
interesting. Yeah, I might have to try that.
Give it a whirl.
All right,
do it.
Give it a whirl.
Make sure you have like a backup bubble to do it on. Don't do it on your primary here.
Yeah,
it might be a disaster. Oh man.
I'm telling you, I've seen people do it. It didn't hit me until I don't remember who I talked to. I don't even remember half their names. So I don't even know who they are, just like my intro. So
do you have any guys that play with the half cage, half visor bubble stuff?
No.
Super dust, right?
No. That's brutal, man.
Yeah. So half the guys, a bunch of the guys on the GSU team have bought those. So Grant, the guy we're talking about, who normally runs, I mean, he's 35, so in our men's league, he plays with nothing, just the helmet. And but one of the guys bought like a maybe CCM, like half cage, half bubble, and he was like, "Oh, that's sick! I'm getting one of those." We're like, "No, please don't, Grant. Like, you're not really going to do that, are you?" And he was like, "Yeah." And sure as crap, he's got one. So we have a guy that plays in our C League that has one of like the Amazon half cage, half. Yeah. It's not Amazon, but it's some company that's like, oh yeah, or like I forget, but like the cage looks like you have an underbite because it sticks out in front of the visor.
It does. It looks like a Star Wars. It looks like a Star Wars.
Goofiest thing.
Well, we have one on our 40 plus too.
His
that
is a
wears it.
CCM though. He doesn't wear that same
Yeah, but
one. I don't
it's
think.
still half and half.
Correct, but there's a difference between like,
Yeah.
you probably shouldn't wear that. It looks weird,
boy.
and like, hey, you look like a pit bull with an underbite.
Yeah, but
and
it's
like, come on, what are we doing?
Regardless, the half and half is really bad. But that same person
I gotcha.
tackled Holland in one of our games. Holland's
gosh.
shoulder was messed up for
My
like
neck.
a week. Yeah.
Jeez.
2 weeks ago, it's in a 40 and over league. The guy's bigger than I am by, I don't know, 20 pounds probably.
That's being generous. Like he's
He's
we're not talking
not a-
like 20 pounds.
He's
of
not
fat.
he's not a fat guy.
no,
He's in pretty decent shape.
Yeah. He's a
But
gym guy. You can tell.
He's a big guy. I mean, he's probably a good inch or two taller than me, and he's heavier than I am. And so we were coming up the ice, and the guy that was carrying the puck up for us, I was trailing him, but coming up the middle of the ice, and he got to the blue line, and I thought he was going to keep going. All of a sudden, he makes a move and cuts across the blue line. So I cut away from him, so I didn't run into him, and was looking over my shoulder, and then like riding the blue line. And the next thing I know is I'm on the ground. Like I just feel like I run into
They
a
both
wall.
are.
I'm
Yeah.
on the ground, and I think I ran into a guy on the other team that like maybe stepped at the blue line or whatever, and like we just collided. And like I'm laying on my back, and I kind of roll my head over and look, and I realize I'm looking at one of my guys, and I got pissed. I wouldn't talk to anybody for a good 10 or 15 minutes, and finally. That guy took a shift ahead of me and Abdu, and I was standing on the bench waiting to go back out. And I looked at Abdu and I said, "I'm freaking pissed, dude." And he goes, "No, I know."
How would you handle that on your team because a lot of players don't play their position on some of on a lot of the teams that we're playing. They don't play their position. How would you, being on the president, are you an alternate or a captain? I know you're not a captain.
Alternate, yeah.
You're an alternate.
It's different. It's different when you're playing D and guys are floating around up like that.
I
It's
get it, but
way
as a leader
different.
of the team, and people aren't playing their position in a competitive.
He's got a coach though, so a coach can bark at guys for being out of position.
Yeah.
well.
No, I mean, I kind of experience it a lot, but
Yes, you
it's
do.
yeah, I mean, it's tough. You kind of try and leave it to the coach, but yeah, because I mean, as soon
Do
as
you
I
get mad
start
at him?
yapping,
Do you get mad at him? Do you like?
100%. I mean, like, because you get stuck in the D zone when guys don't play their position, but like as soon as you start yapping, then they start yapping back, and then more people start yapping, and
We
it
had
turns
that
into a
last
dumpster.
night. We had that
so-
one last night.
That's why you just kind of have to leave it.
I
to
was
the coach.
yapping.
I know that's hard to believe. I know that statement he just made, Fink, is really hard to believe that your uncle would start barking at his own team, but it happens. It 100% happens. So yeah, it's last night was comical.
It was so bad. Holland told me to stop.
Shut
He
up.
told me, he's like, "Shut up, Abdu. Shut up." To my own team, it's like,
There you go.
no.
Well, the guy starts the guy we're talking about is plays defense for us, but I don't think he realizes he plays defense because he pinches constantly and then he gets beat pinching. And so we're constantly giving up odd man rushes. And so we've all kind of yelled and been like, "Hey dude, stop, please quit. Like your primary job is to stay home and play D. Like hang at the offensive blue line, like pinch only if there's nobody coming to the puck. Do not pinch if their forward is going to get there ahead of you. Like you just don't know how to play that." And so, and again, this is 40 and over beer league for crying out loud. Just stay home and do your job like that. And he doesn't listen. So he was getting an earful from Abdu about it last night, and he made some smart. Abdu and I were on the same line, so we get on the ice, and I go skating by the bench mid play, and I hear the guy mouthing off about, "Oh well, I'll listen to him when he actually back checks," talking about Abdu. I got pissed because I'm like, look. For one, Abdu's basically skating on one leg because he has nothing left for a right hip. Like that's not his fault that he can't back check like he would probably want to back check. I don't know. That's probably an extreme. He probably doesn't want to back check. But all right, the hip thing is a real thing, right? And so I took offense to it, and so I turned and looked at him when he got on the ice. I said, "What if I start yelling at you? You got some excuse to not listen to me?" And he wouldn't even look at me. He just looked at the floor. And I said, "You're awfully quiet now, aren't you, big boy?" And he just wouldn't say a word. And so it just pissed me off because I don't know, it just pissed me off.
Think he also
He tried to kill me like 3 times with suicide passes, and I was like, "Dude, please stop! Like, what are you doing?" And then he'd look at me like, "Why didn't you get the puck?" And I'm like, "Why do you think I didn't get the puck? I don't want to die."
After Holland yelled at him, We actually had a decent chance to score. Holland passed it to him. He tried to do a one-timer. The puck went like 3 feet high, but only a foot forward.
It was a
Complete dub.
sand wedge. It was a sand
com-
wedge shot if I've ever seen a sand wedge shot. It was
Yeah.
incredible.
And then what did he say? He goes, "Oops," or something like that.
He was just like, oop.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, what are we doing here? Holy crap.
That's what you have to look forward to
when
once
your
you leave
college
it.
hockey
Yeah.
days are done.
Yeah.
A bunch of morons in beer league. I know what I'm doing. I've been playing for 12 years.
Do you have a plan? Because you're going to go back to Alabama next year, right, and play?
Yeah. So I have 2 more years actually, because I'm on a 5-year master's program. So just
So you
got
can play
accepted.
2 more years, correct?
Yeah. So
Right.
ACHA eligibility, I think, is 5. Then they can grant you a 6th, which I won't need. But that's for, I think, guys that are going to like law school or anything like that have that 2 extra years, or if they come as graduate students. Because my freshman year, I had a 6th-year goaltender. So because he's actually Parker's age. So if you can believe that, I was playing on a team with someone that was 6 years older than me, which was pretty cool. But yeah, go back next year, senior year. A lot of my rookie class will probably be moving on and graduating, and then the 5th year will probably just kind of like a victory lap for me, just to hand off the program, hand off it to a younger president, and just kind of mentor them throughout that year, just so they can kind of get an idea. And then after that 5th year, no plan really. I mean, I think
What's the degree in?
computer engineering, and then that 5th year will be an MBA.
So where do you want to go after you leave Alabama?
So I think all arrows are pointing towards like the St. Pete, Tampa area.
Nice.
So I'm currently interning with Raytheon, and then so I went last summer, and I'm returning next summer. And so typically they do hire a lot out of college, and they have a Raytheon in St. Pete. And the defense industry is not going anywhere. If anything, it's going to be booming with the new term. And so, yeah, I figure that's something I want to do, and perfect area. So I'll probably be in that area, and especially with hockey booming down there with the Lightning and everything, and rinks opening up like crazy. So that's probably where I'll end up.
Are you going to become a Lightning fan and say screw
No.
Bedard?
No, never.
Always a Hawk fan, yeah.
I thought you were kind of a Tampa Bay fan, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Bolts. That's where I want to end up. And their Eastern Conference doesn't really affect the Hawks. But yeah, forever Chicago sports fan. Like I won't go down there and be a Bucks fan. Like the Preds are just 3 hours north of me. I'll never be a Preds fan. Like even going out to Colorado in the summer, I did go to a few Avs playoff games, but like I'll never
remember that.
I'll never be an Avs fan. Like I'll go and I'll root for them, right? Like if I'm going to the game, but
yeah,
no,
his
like it's
first week there,
Chicago.
Holland. His first week in Colorado, he's staying with my brother.
Yeah.
And his first week there, he's like, "Yeah, I just got a ticket. Decided to go
I know, you told me.
I went to
decided to go
Game
in.
4 and Game 6.
And you
Going
had
to a
the
Stanley Cup
double overtime
playoff. See you
one.
guys later.
Yep,
Good
the double
seats,
overtime
too.
one, Duchesne. Yep. Yeah, not too bad. That Duchesne double overtime winner was crazy though. If you guys
So-
remember that, it was
I don't remember
he,
that.
he did the heartbreaker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you think the Hawks will ever make the playoffs
Oh yeah.
in the next 5 years?
Oh, 100%.
Come on.
100%. Do you
For
know
real?
how many guys we have in our system right now?
Not enough to make it out of second to last place in the league right now.
We have the leading goal scorer on North Dakota, Saka Boiver. He's 18. We drafted him this past year, and then we have so many guys. I mean, we have guys. I mean, look at now, Nazar finally breaking through.
Yes.
He's just young.
He's a Michigan man, too.
I went to I think it was like 4 or 5 Hawks games over break, just because I love watching professional hockey and I love the Hawks, and watching those guys play, like he's so close. Like he's so quick and so skilled, but there are just a few, I would say, mistakes or lack of poise that he's just missing from being a full-blown NHL superstar. But
Are they going to get rid of Hall? Or Hall?
I don't know. I think Hall's kind of fed up, which I don't blame him.
I think everybody is.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I even watching the game last night, brutal. The 4-3 loss in overtime to Carolina.
Yeah.
And after they scored that overtime goal, Bedard just slap shot of the puck back into the goal. I mean, there's frustration on that team for sure. But
Oh, Bedsy's getting super frustrated this season.
Yeah,
You can tell it's tough. He needs somebody like I don't know, like a McDavid or somebody he needs to spend time with a guy like that has been able to weather some crappy storms.
Yeah.
He needs somebody to give him some mentorship, because there's a big mental side of the game. I think that Bedard, I know he went through injuries when he was younger and had to sit, and he kind of knows what that looks like. This is a whole nother ball of wax. Like, you're the face of a program, you're the face of a franchise.
Yeah, are they going to keep him?
Who?
Yeah. It's not even a question.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting. I saw a podcast that Nick Foligno and Taylor Hall went on, and they were talking about their days in Boston with the dream team, and kind of reflecting on that and talking a little bit about the current team and talking about Bedard. And Foligno actually had a really good point. He brought up how Connor never struggled in his life with hockey. Never. Always put up 100+ point seasons, was always the guy. Yep. No matter what, whether win or lose.
I can totally relate to that.
He was 2 goals, 2 assists per game. And now that he's at this level, and it's actually the real deal, he's struggling, and he just doesn't really know how to handle it. And he also kind of brought up how coming into the league, he had no high school, because during COVID would have been, I think, like his freshman year or something.
Yeah.
And he didn't have it, and then went straight to the WHL. Like, just never had high school, never had that time to like emotionally mature, like kind of find his personality. And
he's got to get off his mom's tit and get out to eating some big boy food. I mean, he really does. I don't mean that like a slam against his parents or him or whatever. He's got to go learn to stand on his own 2 feet. That's why I say
I don't know.
He
his
needs
mom is
a
kind
good.
of hot. I'd stay on that tit for a while.
He needs a Corey Perry wanted to. He needs to. He needs to. Sorry, boys. He needs to get some good. Sorry, this isn't a national podcast. We're good. We may actually get some heat for that one. Clip that one and play it. See how tag the spit and chicklets, guys. Sorry, boys. Yeah, I think he needs somebody. I mean, all these young guys that come in. I mean, any sports program you're in, I think guys that come straight out of high school or college ranks right into the pros, depending on the league, it's tremendously beneficial to have some sort of good senior leadership around them. And I know they've tried to do that with Bedard some, but I think he needs a player that's his similar talent level, that's kind of come in with similar expectations, and how he's managed that. I mean, it doesn't have to be McDavid. McDavid's, like the big name brand, but there's a bunch of guys like Patrick Kane would be a great guy for him to sit with, because he came in with a lot of expectations and he kind of met those and did a great job. And but just any guys like that. Austin Matthews would probably another one that he's done well. And so any of those big brand, big name guys that could sit with him and say, hey, man, look, this is what it looks like. I don't know what the brotherhood and fraternity looks like in professional hockey. I don't know how willing those guys are to sit down with other guys and try to mentor those guys in. I don't know if it's more cutthroat and competitive, or if it is, hey, we're all here together, we're all pulling in the same direction, the league, blah, 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 blah. So, but yeah, Bedard would benefit tremendously from a mentor that's similarly skilled, and maybe went through some of the same struggles that would help him. I mean, just because the frustration part's not going to wear well with the fan base, it's not going to wear well with the team.
Right.
Correct.
I mean, I had to talk to my son's U10 goalie this past weekend, and he's a great kid. He's a neighbor of ours, so we know him really well and his parents really well. But he popped up this habit. They were getting pumped this weekend in just a couple of little showcase games, and he started slamming his stick. The kid's been playing for a year and a half or so in goal. I've never seen him slam his stick. And so I grabbed him post game and I was like, hey, you got to do me a favor. I said, you can't slam your stick anymore. I said, for one, you don't pay for it, your parents do. I said, so you can't be breaking a $200 goalie stick. Like, your parents aren't going to stand for that. I was like, but for two, like, the way you react to goals affects every single one of your teammates. If they see you slamming sticks, they're going to get frustrated. I was like, but the other thing it communicates to the other team that they're in your head. I said, you really have to have the best short-term memory on this team. A goal goes in, wipe it, move on. In practice, let's go back and relive the goals and work on the things we can do better. But game time, you have to be a better picture of composure than slamming your stick on the ground.
How did he take that?
He's 10, so he was probably like, yeah, sweet, SpongeBob, okay. No, he listened. He kind of nodded and was like, "No, I get it." And he knows me really well. Like me playing hockey is a big reason they him and his brother and his mom and dad all kind of got involved in hockey. They saw me doing it. They started doing it like in the roller stuff, and then when they knew that ice was kind of the way to go, they jumped on that train as well. And so I think he listened well. His dad actually came up to me afterwards. He was like, "Hey, thanks for saying something." He's like, his mom's going to chew his butt because, like, please don't break the stick we just spent a bunch of money on for you at Christmas. He's like, but I appreciate you talking. I think he listens, he respects my opinion basically. So, and he didn't slam a stick the next game and they had the same kind of outcome. It was weird. It was an oddball habit that the kid picked up that I've never seen him do before. So, but you, even in our beer league, right? It's probably not the best look for you and me, Abdu, to be fussing and barking at one of our own guys. That kills. It really does. It affects the psyche of everybody around you, right?
That's what Hoffman said to me. He's like, "Hey, the more you yell at these guys,
yeah,
the worse it's going to be for us."
But I say that's why we've adopted the passive aggressive approach of, "Hey, you're doing a great job standing in the neutral zone. Just stand there. It's okay."
There's we don't play on a D1 team, so there's no tryouts. It's just like, hey, you pay, you're going to get placed on this team. Our second line is
bad.
Like one guy's about 260.
Oh, nice.
That's generous. And he's 5'4".
Right. And there's one point.
He looks like a keg with legs.
At the beginning of the season, I'm just like, all right, don't even skate. Just stare at the puck and just watch the puck. And then Holland, being the Christian pastor that he is, he starts doing that. And he's like, yeah, I started implementing that and this and that. Then Holland, being the Christian man that he is, implemented some more of this stuff that me and my fondue boo, Pete Rossi, starts yelling at our players, getting in their grills. So Holland is really turning into one of us. But we don't yell at him.
I used to get really frustrated when I was younger. And when I was coming up, so when I was your age, a lot of the frustrations, you've expressed, like I would get frustrated and maybe not yell at guys, but I would.
Now he does.
I would bark like, I don't know. I didn't try to belittle guys, but I would definitely get really vocal trying to encourage guys to do better, what to do kind of thing. And so what's gotten frustrating for me playing old man beer league hockey is you get guys on the ice that think they are something they are not. And that's what drives me nuts. I'm like, come on, dude. If you're going to say like, oh, I'm a D guy and I can totally rush the puck and it never has a bad result. All right, I'm going to start filming the games and putting the film in front of you because it has a lot of bad results. If you're too stupid to realize, like that's when I get irritated. So I have tried to adopt the very passive aggressive encouragement of like, just stand there. That's great. It's at least we know where you're at if we want to pass the puck. Don't worry about trying to move or anything. Back checking, that's more of a suggestion than a reality. Like just do what you want to do.
Austin, you got to play with us one day.
Oh,
I want to.
You got to play. So I have a question for you.
Yeah,
I have two questions. Did you see Matthews try to pull on the Michigan last night?
No, I didn't see that.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
You're playing in a game, your defense. Yeah. Someone pulls, excuse me. Someone pulls off the Michigan. You just let it slide and you're like, oh, that's a sick goal. Do you go after him?
Someone pulls it off or someone tries it?
Okay, let's do this.
They're not going to pull it off.
There we go. I was going to say. All right, so they attempt to pull it off. Yeah. What's the?
Oh, so, he gets like 42-minute penalties in one game.
Well, I mean, if I ever see a guy behind the net go down to do it and pick it up, I mean, he's losing both wrists. It's tomahawk chop. It is.
Yes.
Like his hands are going to be on the ground. Like, no. There's.
All right, let's say you're not on. Let's say you're not on the ice, and a different D pair is out there, and the Michigan gets successfully pulled off. Is that guy? Were you headhunting that guy the rest of the game?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I'm just trying to put myself in the situation. Like if I was on the bench and I watched it happen, my jaw would probably drop, and then. No, I'd probably just move on to the next shift. I wouldn't think much of it.
Tipping the cap and saying, hey, good for you.
Unless they like did something or they like turn around and like the shoot Selly to our goalie or something. But if he just did it and just blissfully went back.
All right,
there's no
let's
issue.
say a guy on the team, not the best player, definitely not the worst player, in the middle, scores a goal, puts a stick between his legs and just waggles it. So
Yeah.
like goes like this for a celly. What do you do? Oh, and his
Not on
teammates.
my team?
Yeah, on your team.
You give him a cred.
All right.
Encore.
So I did that. I did that last week. I scored
Yeah.
a goal, put it between my legs, and just waggled the stick. My fondue boo comes up and starts stroking my stick. It was the best celly. Yes.
He was just giving him cred.
Dude, we'd be on Hockey House Pod. We'd be on all these different social medias if we did that. Nah, we probably get.
We don't have Live Barn, or else I would have made that probably my lock screen on my phone.
Dude, we've done some sellies that would make you blush.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
they're
love
pretty
it, though.
brutal.
Yeah, I got teabagged once.
We've done the
I laid out on
Titanic
the ice.
celly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Holland and I.
We've done the
scored.
Titanic celly a couple of times.
That's awesome.
Let's see. Oh, Holland fell down once and scored a goal, and he was laying on the ice, and I came up. Oh, I dry humped the other team's goalie a couple of times.
What?
Yeah.
That'll get you killed, man.
You would think so.
When I scored I didn't score when I fell. I think I just shot it on net.
You got an assist.
And but I forget
our
what you did.
our first 40+ game this year. The same goalie that I dry humped. I scored on him first game, and he skated off to the side, and I hunted him down. I go, come on, Brent, let's just one more dry hump. And he took his stick, and he was mad. He hacked me really hard with his stick. And I go, come on, Brent, just turn around. Let's make eye contact. And then he jabbed me again. He jabbed me. Like, he was mad. Even Holland goes, he's mad. But like, as soon as I scored, I started chasing him for a dry hump.
To be fair, that was a really good game, and I think we won that game like 1-0. So goalie was pretty bent about letting it in. But again, it was a good game. So one of our guys, we had a little like fun pickup game for a guy that's deployed over the holiday break, and one of our good buddies, Pack. I passed to him or something. He scored or whatever, and he came over. I think I fell after that one or something. And somebody was like, "Who is dry humping Jeremy?" And it was Pack.
Yeah.
So Pack chased me around and dry humped me for the assist.
So Austin,
there's some wild ones. You do not need to institute any of these at Alabama. It would probably lead to
that's what I'm getting.
suspensions.
The boys that dump and skate for us. Next goal, can you just dry hump one of your teammates? Maybe crack a zeros, and then look, crack open a zeros, look right into the Live Barn camera, and just point and go zero like that. I got you, Cooch. That's going to be part of our.
I know what we'll do. We'll send you a dump and skate sticker. You're going to have to carry it in your pants, and when you score, you're going to take it, peel it out, and stick it on the goalie's helmet.
Or on your bubble, right on your bubble. Hey, would you go?
I'd probably do that.
Have you seen the colored bubbles?
Yeah, we have one.
You have a guy that plays with one?
No, we have like a team one for photo shoots.
Oh.
Would you wear one for a game, like maybe the neon orange one?
How hard are they to see through?
Not hard at all.
It's just like looking through Oakley sunglasses that are polarized.
Yeah. It's definitely tinted. Like we have a black one and a red one. It's just tinted.
What do you think of white cages?
Of white cages?
Yeah, is that dust?
No, I think a gray cage is dust.
Eat it, Abdu. Eat it.
No, Lindsay's still on my side.
A bag full of them. Eat it.
Yeah, gray cages are brutal, but like if you get the chrome, you got to be a certain type of player. But you can do the chrome.
I had
an old silver Bauer cage. Yeah, I have an old silver Bauer cage that's mostly rust now.
What's the main color cage on the Bama team?
Oreo. The Oreo cages.
Okay. The blackout, white in. Yeah. Those are nice.
Yeah, it says everyone's got.
I ordered a new cage for my kid. It's gray, and it's a CCM one, and the technology in them now where like all the bars are flat, like right between your eyes and stuff. It's nice. But the cage, like it feels like it sticks out this far on my helmet. Like my helmet's right tight to my head, and it's like boink. And so I actually tried to tie it up over the holidays to tighten it up. Yeah. And I can't. I'm gonna have to heat it up or something. It won't draw any closer to my helmet. It looks really weird. I played with it once in our 40 and over league. we got like 5 or 6 guys that joined our A League that all played NCAA Division I for for Army, one of them rifled he has a piss missile for a wrist shot. And matter of fact, last game we played with him, he said, "I'm going to stop shooting." He's like, "I'm going to break this goalie's collarbone." He kept aiming for like outside edges, and it kept popping the goalie right in top of his pads. And he was like, "I just got to quit shooting." I mean, dude has a cannon. And so he let one go a few weeks ago. We were playing against him. It ricocheted off a guy's stick, and it went right between my eyes, but it hit my visor and like skimmed my helmet. But it hit me hard enough that it stood me straight up. And so the referee blew the whistle immediately and killed the play because they saw it hit me. Buddy skated right to me. He was like, "Dude, are you okay?" I was like, "I'm good. It hit me in the head. I'm good. I'm good." He was like, "Are you sure you're okay?" I'm like, no, it hit. And then he looked and he goes, "No, it definitely hit the top of your visor and your head. I can see the black rubber marks where it went across." And sure enough, it was black marks on the top of the visor and the helmet. So over the holiday, I was like, maybe I should put a cage on because like I don't want to eat one of these in the mouth here. So I put it on, but it looks, like I said, it stands out like this. It just drives me nuts. So I wore it once and I haven't worn it since.
Yeah. There you go.
Cages. Boo.
So I swear by him.
Yeah. Do you guys
long podcast. Go ahead.
Do you guys
What's
use
up?
the neck guards? Like
I'm not. My kids having to.
Okay.
I have
Oh,
one.
that's right. It's a rule now, right?
Yeah, I have one.
It's
but I've
as
never
of
worn it.
September. I think they implemented it for all minors. Yeah.
So are you? You're not a net guard guy. I haven't seen any.
I
You
use
are?
a base layer with one. Yeah.
Okay,
you?
yeah, I have the
Yeah.
I have the same thing. I've worn it once. I don't mind it. So
Yeah. I feel like if I was, and like no offense to this at all, but I feel like if I was playing, like I don't know how competitive it is, but like if I was playing like a men's league where I know I wasn't gonna be like being in situations where
yeah,
I could get thrown on the ground or I'm driving the
Correct.
net at full speed, I probably wouldn't wear one. But you
Yeah.
just, especially in the speed of the game today, you just kind of never know. And
would you wear shoulder pads in a men's league game?
yeah,
See,
yeah.
me too.
You don't wear shoulder pads?
No.
Holland does not. A majority of men don't. I do.
What
quit
happens
wearing
when you
them.
get run by a guy?
It's a non-check league.
Oh, it's non-check. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
not.
only
I still wear
fear-
'em. I wouldn't be able
The
to.
only fear I have is if I've played
your own
D
teammate
and
nails
they're
it.
unless your own guy trucks you with your blue line. But even then, like it was whiplash. It wasn't shoulder pain. I watched a guy though separate his shoulder 2 weeks ago, and he wears big bulky shoulder pads. So I was like, what does it even matter? Like I don't know. So I had a bunch of rotator cuff shoulder issue years and years ago when I was 15, 16 years old. Had to have my rotator cuff rebuilt and all. And so I know a lot about the shoulder and everything. And we asked the surgeon stuff at the time, like my parents were like, well, if we put him in shoulder pads, so I wasn't playing ice, I was playing roller. I didn't get on the ice until I got a little bit older and got into college. But they were basically like, hey, what if we make him wear shoulder pads? Is that going to help? The doc was like, if you want to, that's fine. He was like, but his injury is not like hey, if you have padding. He's like, we have football players that come in with this injury all the time. And there was actually a kid I went to high school with that played football that had the exact same injury. And actually ended his football career his junior year because they had repaired it and he got hit again and it tore it right back out. And once you repair it and it tears again, there is no fixing it. Will never stay in.
Wow.
And so the doctor was like, I mean, he can put shoulder pads on. They were like, but his was a traumatic dislocation. It wasn't like a throwing motion like a baseball player or like a repeated like tennis motion. They were like, traumatic dislocation is way different. And so shoulder pads do not protect like the small tendons and stuff in there. Shoulder pads really more are for like bruising or possible breaks and things, but really like chest for taking shots. And so the only time I've contemplated like, maybe is early this season playing in our A League. I had a couple guys that I had to drop back and play D, and I had a couple guys that probably should not be taking slap shots because they don't know how to keep them low. And they came whizzing by like my waist and my chest. And I had a guy put his elbow like square in my sternum one week. And so I was like, I might get some lightweight shoulder pads just because I'm sick of the bruising in my chest and stuff.
Yeah.
But not because of my shoulders or anything.
Man.
One last question, because I know we're going on a long one here. Is your locker room a pretty close, tight knit for the boys kind of thing? Like, I know that our travel team, I've said this on the podcast, there is nothing like this group of guys in a good way. Like these guys are just the best, and I look forward to all these tournaments that we do, and I look forward to running into them at the rink and everything like that. So, you guys always being in practice and on the road, you guys have that special bond as well. A good group.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a great group of guys. I mean, I think it's extremely difficult when you have little success like we do this year. And like losing games every weekend, it can definitely be tough. But I think outside of that, going to practice, going to workouts, all these different things, like it is a close knit. I mean, we're all brothers. We love each other. Once we
Right.
hit the ice,
Close knit.
yeah, you know
Has
what I mean? I mean, we don't have to be best of friends outside the rink. Like we don't have to hang out, walk to class together, eat lunch together. But as soon as we get there, it is a brotherhood. So I mean,
I feel like the close knit and the brotherhood has to soften the blows of a tough season. At least if you're a
yeah,
good bunch, makes it
yeah,
fun.
definitely. I mean, it's again, we're in college, right? It's the best years of our life. So at the end of the day, if we take a few tough losses on a weekend, I mean,
Hmm.
the bars are still open. You know what I mean? So
I don't
it's
know, man. Wait till you get into beer league. Those might be the best days of your life.
yeah,
Just saying.
hey, they might be. You never know. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Unless you hang out
Doing the
with a guy
bench
that doesn't
beers, having my
shower.
zeros.
We got to get you down here and just playing one couple games with us.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm open to it. Just let me
Cooch
know.
always brings zeros. You can just have a couple zeros in the rink with us and just hang out.
Yeah.
You know, Uncle Ryan likes the zeros so much. He's like, "Hey, look, man, I'll invest. Let's get this thing growing."
No way. It's
I
awesome.
I have to send him. I'm gonna have to send him some too.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
Rob's coming out with some more stuff too. I probably can't say it on this and can't release it because none of it's out. But he's got some good stuff coming down the pipe. I'll tell you about it off air. It's
Perfect.
You boys will be excited.
Do you have a
It's-
favorite flavor?
Oh yeah, you kidding me?
Is it the
Try and
grape?
guess.
It's the
Yeah,
grape.
it's the grape.
It's the grape.
Yeah.
It's everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
He's
It's
definitely
super-
got something for you. Then you're
Awesome.
gonna like what he's got coming. It's gonna be nice. So
Yeah.
it'll be good. So
Yeah, the great Dreamsicle.
There you
Creamsicle,
go.
yeah, it's good.
creamsicle, grape are the two favorites, and then the if you're a Red Bull vodka guy, there's those guys like the Power Sickles and then the
Powersicle. Yeah.
Cransicle. Cransicle, I'll do the Cransicle as a nice change up every now and then
Yep.
because
Does
it's
Liv
kinda
like 'em?
Similar.
Yeah, she loves them.
So we have the tournament the weekend before the wedding. I'll see if there's some leftovers. I'll bring them to. I'll bring them to
Just
the
tell
wedding.
Rob. Yeah, Rob will travel with him.
Oh, you kidding me?
So here's the
Rob
thing.
will travel with him. Just
I
tell
don't-
Rob about it before you get there. He'll travel with a bunch. He'll probably bring a bunch for you to take.
I don't drink, but I did tell Parker that I'll have a few drinks with him for his wedding. I'll
Yeah.
bring some zeros. I'll have some zeros with you guys.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and then
That'll be awesome.
I did tell Cooch and Pete that for the zeros tournament in Chicago, I'll have a drink or two with them too. So
Nice.
I guess I got to get my tolerance up for that wedding.
Yeah. Yeah. Zeros are great, man. Nothing like
So,
them.
Yeah, I'll see if Daddy will let me snag a couple for the wedding.
Perfect.
All right, I've gotten 4,000 text messages about league
All right.
stuff while we've been on this, so I'm gonna have to get some of these done. I've also got to turn all my lights back on in my house so it doesn't look like I live in a dungeon. Shout out
Austin,
TG.
don't.
Sorry, Austin, that's a little bit of an inside joke.
No worries.
Oh man, What were you
Don't,
saying,
don't
Abdi?
I was gonna say don't bump off.
Yeah, don't bump off.
We'll talk off there for a second.
Yeah, give us a minute. So, Austin, thanks again for being on. Best of luck for the rest of the season. Hope you boys can throw a few more in the win column and keep growing as a team. And yeah, we'll hopefully get to talk to you soon again.
Absolutely. Thanks,
All
guys,
right,
for having me.
Yeah, man, we'll see you.
All right.
All right. Quick outro here because this is an hour and a half podcast. We are rolling here. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to us. We super duper appreciate That's weird. We really appreciate you guys listening, following all that stuff. If you haven't already, follow us, like us, all that good stuff on the social media, all the social media platforms. We appreciate you guys supporting us. We know you guys appreciate guests and the good stories and things like that. We've got some, Abdi and I have been talking behind the scenes. We got some really cool stuff, hopefully coming down the pipe, all under the Dump and Skate umbrella, but we want to try to branch out and do some different things, a little bit different content for you guys to take and things like that. So just more of the same slapstick humor you've come to know and love from us. So keep a lookout. It'll be posted soon. So thanks for listening, guys. We love you. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.